Hi everyone! So this video is a bit late, but I wanted to play as much of the game as possible before I do a tips and tricks video. So we're going to be talking about Tiny Bookshop today. I am working with Dreamlight Goddess as a collab. So basically I used some of her tips and tricks for the Tales of the Shire video, and she reached out to me, and yeah, we decided to collab on a video together, so I'm very excited about that. So this video is going to be me first going through her guide, because her guide is more like the beginning of the game and just an overall concept of the game, and then I'll go through my guide, which is mostly focused on the Steam achievements. So let's get started. Okay, so her very first tip is about unlocking locations and knowing local customers. As you keep playing, you'll soon unlock different areas. Always check your journal calendar for events that are happening. That's really important for meeting everyone. So the very last person you should be meeting is on Autumn 1st. I will not be spoiling anything else other than that. After you explore a new area for the first time, you will see in your journal that they have specific preferences for each area. For example, the beach, a lot of people like to buy children's books, or the university, a lot of people like to buy scholarly books. So you have to make sure that after the first time you do check every single time, because lining up your shelves with the right books is really important. Keep an eye on your journal to know the type of books that your locals are interested in, and it will only show up after the first time. The next tip is to always check out the flea market when it's available. Not only is it a great place to sell books, but you can also buy other items and accessories for your bookshop at the flea market. The flea market is only available on Saturdays, so always keep your money enough so you can buy stuff at the flea market, especially since there's a beginning quest for you to buy 7 items, I believe, at the flea market. You can introduce the flea market pretty early on by Tilda, one of the regular characters in the game. There will be other market-like locations that you can go as you progress in the game, but this is the primary one and you'll get most of the items here, so it's super important, especially if you want to expand and get more shelves. Next is the importance of customizing your library. So in the very beginning of the game, they teach you how to customize your library by painting it and adding items. You can also paint a bunch of items. I didn't know this until later, so a bunch of items can be painted, not just the camper van itself. You can also add your own little touches by equipping different items and painting it. Items come with negative effects that you will need to be aware of. The skull item increases the chance of selling crime books by 4%, however it also decreases the chance of selling kids books by 2%. Finding the right balance of positives and negatives will help you maximize your profits for the day. So the book sign, for example, that you get in the very beginning can increase your customer count by a flat 5%. I feel like this is the main strategy in the game other than the recommendations, so it's super important to balance it. It's kind of annoying to change it every time. You don't have to change it every time, but if you're doing an important quest, definitely change it to match the quest. Every single day you should be checking the Bookstonebury review. The review gives you key information such as the current day's information and the next day's weather. At the bottom of the screen is the seasonal section. You can buy special items to enhance your bookshop. Like the game says, they won't go away until the end of the season, so you can just leave them. Actually, I don't even think they go away at the end of the season. They just stay there until you buy them. But you won't be able to get new stuff unless you buy the current stuff. Don't just buy the first item you see. Some items, especially in the classifieds, often go on sale, so sometimes you'll see books for like $0, so definitely do not buy books for like more than $20. I basically only buy books for less than $20, and I've been okay the whole time. I've never had too little books for me to sell the next day. This is also where you see important calendar events. You can also see it in your journal, but this is a really great way to see current events basically happening that day, and you can plan easily for what you're doing for the rest of the week. The next is how important it is for you to understand daily expenses. It refers to the amount you'll lose each time you set up shop. These items are equipped in your library and can increase your daily expenses along with the location you choose to go to. The daily expenses is the most overlooked part of the game. If you're trying to min-max profits, make sure you keep an eye out. So for example, lights and plants will cost money because you have to water and you have to pay for electricity. You might not think that the weather would matter in this game, but it really does. After you finish the first playthroughs through summer, there will be other seasons. Sunny days have no impact on sales or customer traffic, but other weather types can offer bonuses. Be ready for more weather patterns to be added, and be sure to adapt your inventory. For example, rainy weather brings fewer customers, but increases spooky and warm effects for items. For example, you would want to have an umbrella stand out. Recommending the right book. This is very important, and I will add my guide along with hers. Not all customers know exactly what they want, and some will ask for help. The customers will give you a general idea of the type of book they're after. Hover over books on your shelf and pick the one that matches their request. When they like your recommendation, you'll get an inspiration buff, which increases your sales by 15% for a short time. Here is my advice for recommendations. Number 1, it's sometimes beneficial to give bad recommendations. There are 2 items in the game where this is important, but I will not spoil it for you. Number 2, prioritize requests that use language like "I need X" or "I won't leave without X." These are the most important statements. The other ones are beneficial, but they're not completely necessary. The next is that you should definitely not focus on genre. It is not the most important thing. For example, the fantasy genre in the game includes both fantasy and sci-fi, so if they ask for a sci-fi book, you should be looking in the fantasy genre, but sci-fi could also appear in other genres as well. For example, there are classic sci-fi books available. Children's books can also include fantasy books. There are lots of fantasy books that are written specifically for children and may appear in the children's category in the game. Or a play. William Shakespeare has written classics, but he also focused on drama. There's also fantasy involved in some of his plays, so you can find plays in classics, drama, fantasy, and kids. Kids can also read mystery books, so just definitely don't focus on genre and focus on specifically what they're asking for. The next is that there are sometimes contradictory requests. Just focus on one and don't focus on the other. You cannot give 100% exactly what they're looking for. Like if they're asking for a 700-page poetry book, that is not possible. Also, sometimes they'll say they want it to be women written. I've recommended male written books and it's been okay. So sometimes they'll say that they recently like a book. It happens to me a lot, but I still recommend that book by accident. Do not do that. Make sure you don't do that. The next is to try to let the inspiration buff run out before starting the next recommendation. This may be hard because sometimes there are 2 people asking at the same time, but yeah, let the first one run out and then do the next one because you'll be wasting the first one. The next is that you can scroll around the map and look around, but have your sound on to the max so you can actually hear the ding when somebody is asking for advice. The next is that when they're asking for a series in a book, it doesn't have to be the first book, just give a random book in the series. The game itself doesn't actually tell you if it's a series or not, so this might be really hard for you. Just Google it. Goodreads is great for that, and I will be posting a link down below for every single book in the game. So it's a Google Docs document, and a lot of people are working on it at the same time, so I don't know if the information is completely accurate. Her next advice is to complete the quests. As you continue, you will notice that there are some quests that can be done. Keep an eye out for these quests and complete them to create memories with these characters. Some give you free items, while others give you some small side quests. Check your journal and the notebook button on the bottom left. There are 8 recurring characters that are a regular part of your journey. Some will stop by to buy books and share news about important upcoming events, so don't miss out on those. The last tip and trick before we move on to achievements is that she noticed that you can actually change the color of the books, so I would suggest doing that in the very beginning because you will be already locked in on what the books look like. Like, I'm not going to change the color of my books probably because I already have them memorized, so I do this in the very beginning of the game and they're so pretty when they're all pastel. Before I move on to the achievements part of the video, I just wanted to say that there is no cloud save right now. They're trying to fix the issue and they will be adding cloud save in the future, but I started this game on PC and wanted to move on to my Steam Deck, and it was such a hassle to copy and paste the file. So yeah, make sure you are playing on the device that you want to play with, and you cannot switch back and forth right now other than just copy and pasting the file every single time you want to move back and forth. So now we'll be describing achievements based on different categories. So the first category is the recommendation achievements. So the first one is hobbies bookseller, recommend any book successfully. Next is accomplished booksologist, which is 3, and master bibliophile, which is 5. So my recommendation for this is to equip items that increase the number of recommendations you are asked for per day to increase your chances. This one is the hardest at the 5 books a day, but yeah, equip items that increase the number of recommendations and you should be able to do it. The next category I call play the game achievements. These are achievements you get just by playing the game naturally. So Social Butterfly is to meet every single person, and like I said, you get the last person in Autumn 1. Meow, you will get the cat as part of Tilt's arc. Be There for Tilt is also part of Tilt's arc. Fish tastes better fried is Waltz. A two Brute is to finish the Lighthouse stamps. No Silence in the Library is to attend Claus's concert, so that's part of his arc. Family Feud is to finish Miriam and Moira's arc. Hot Off the Press is Ferns. Master of Plants is Anne's. Spelunker and Specologist is to finish the St. Buxton mystery. World Tour is Claus's arc. Super Sleuth is to solve every mystery. There will be 4. You'll have to finish all 4. Friends Till the End is collect all core gold memories. You don't need all memories, but you need all the core ones. A stamp collector is to collect every stamp. If you're struggling with any of these, there are story guides on Steam. I will link them down below. The next category is the season achievements. These are all automatic in the game. Full Moon happens automatically at the end of fall. 'Tis the Season is opening the shop during the winter market. Spring Hath Come Again happens at the end of spring. The anniversary achievements is just playing the game for an entire year. Next is a category I call random achievements. The first one is paperback writer, which you get at the flea market. Talk to the guy behind you and he'll give you a typewriter. Equip it and interact with it over and over until you write the book. It does not matter what type of book you write. The next is Good Boy. There is a dog on the far right of the docks. Get a fish from Walt's shop on Wednesday after unlocking the fish market, and you can adopt the dog that night after you give him the fish. Absolute Menace, scare off the tourists. So this is when you get the fish from 2 different ways. You unlock this quest during tourist season in autumn, so the first tourist season you will see is during the autumn. You either buy a fish from Walt, or you can do it during the Hard Times quest, which is in Cafe Liberté. Click on the dumpster to get the spoiled fish. Equip either fish. The tourists come back 1 week during the summer and the fall. So if you miss it like me, you'll have to wait until the summer next year. The next is called Seagull Literacy. Keep the raw fish equipped for multiple days at the waterfront and you will eventually get this achievement. The next is Floof. There are lots of sheep in the game. The most often you'll see them is in the ruins area, so just click on the sheep until you get the achievement. Safety risk is getting your danger level to 100. The easiest way to do this is to use the raw fish at the waterfront for an additional 50% risk, and then just add more dangerous items until you get 100% risk. Okay, more random achievements. One is a tiny plant shop, so equip a bunch of plants. You can get this from Anne at the market. Beginner's luck. Win a chess match at the park. Always play white. The chess groups meet on Monday and Wednesdays. Perfectly balanced. Attend the yoga meetings at the park until you manage it. You have to do this twice. You will get it on the second try. She struggles with the first try and then she gets it on the second try. They meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mascot Rescue. After completing the Mega Mystery Stamp, the mascot will eventually show up for sale in the newspaper. You just have to buy it, you don't have to equip it. Mega Fan. Equip every piece of the Mega merch. It doesn't have to be at the same time, you just have to equip it once. The Mega Sign, the Mega Mascot, and the Mega Red Paint are the 3. Fast selection. Have 100 books in the store at once. The more you can get more shelves is at the flea market, the fish market, or the newspaper. The fish market has one, it's like a fish shelf. The next is a second-hand hoarder. Have 100 items, just keep buying items until you have 100. The next is the selling books achievement. So Bookworm, Scholar, and Mass Appeal. My suggestion is to get more shelves, learn in which areas like what books, like I said earlier, and get better at recommendations. Equip many items for different genres, so do not just get one genre, get as many genres as possible, with focus more on the areas that like each book. So for example, if there's an area that likes more crime, do every genre but do more of crime. Flea market days are the best days to do these, and equipping items to increase your overall customer count is also very important. Like I said before, whatever items you have is very important for whatever you're trying to do. Sunk cost fallacy. This is best for beginning of the game. Have very little money on you and then visit a location that costs more than what you have. The next is sold out, so sell all the books you take with you. There is an 8-book shelf in the game that you can get, so just bring that one, don't bring anything else, and you can do that easily. Private library. Have 1,000 books. Just whenever you see books, buy them when you have the money to do so. Money pants. Have 1,000 gold at once. This is easy way later in the game, and just save for a few days and you'll be able to do it. The next and final category for achievements is the sell books per genre achievements. So my tips overall is you might be tempted to fill your whole shop with one genre. Do not do this because customers alternate between two genres. If you don't have any from one genre, they will leave no matter what you have otherwise. Use your recommendations wisely. So fill as many genres as possible, but focus on the one that you are focused on at the moment. You can also fill recommendations for people you know that aren't buying genre of choice. The first one is a crime cracker or huge criminal. I recommend doing this at the Mega Marsh. Drama Llama or Drama Destroyer, library or hospital. Classic connoisseur or classic collector, do it at the university or cafe. Fact finder or factually accurate, do it at the university. Fantasy freak or fantasy fanatic, beach or flea market. Chaos kid or hip with the kids, do it at the beach in the summer or the castle ruins throughout the year. And world traveler, do it at the waterfront. Well, that took me a really long time to film. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any other tips or tricks or if I said anything wrong. I have not completely finished the game yet, so I would like to know any thoughts that you have. And let me know whether or not you're loving this game, because obviously I am absolutely loving it. Thank you for Dreamlight Goddess for working with me. And I hope you all have a great day. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below, and follow my Discord. Bye!